want you to know that you ignited resilience in me when you saw me in such a mess, picked me off the floor, dusted me off, and told me that I would be okay. Woo, I still think about that now, Sean. I get chills about what Phyllis did for me. I hope everybody has a Phyllis in their life when
Yeah.
things are rough and times are hard. You have someone, yes, we have Jesus, but sometimes we need to touch. We need to touch and feel and be hugged and be told it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
You
about your resilience story?
when I think about that, Pam, and I just recently shared a portion of this with a group, is that there are several stories of resiliency, but the one that really, is near and dear to my heart is that, I was working for an organization for about 19 years and just going through a lot. Let's just
Mm,
leave it at that. But I made a decision that it was time for me to let it go and
mm,
move on. And when you talked about having a community and you talked about Phyllis, I recall the number of Phyllises that I had that applauded me for taking the step that I did to move
mhm,
forward and letting go of something that was near and dear to my heart, but it was no longer serving me and it was causing me a lot of pain, causing me a lot of discomfort, causing me to be unhappy. And I had a choice to make. And whereas I didn't have at that moment, because I think people in their own unique way were trying to probably say things to me, but sometimes you come into a place you're not hearing. But I heard something on the inside says time to move on. And when I moved on, they literally applauded me, or they literally said, we're so glad that you finally took the leap of faith and did what you needed to do for yourself. And when I think about resiliency, it allowed me, even though I had to let something go, it allowed me to bounce back in a much
mm,
healthier perspective in mind, body, and spirit that I can go on because it was difficult. But again, I think in life we go through these places where we feel like we can't go on, but you have those somebodies or somebodies that are there to support you and encourage you and give you that push that you need. But most importantly, something you said earlier that I have to piggyback on is that I know that God was always there, but I'm grateful for the people that He used to help me get to the place that I am today. And I don't declare that I'm at a place of arrival, but I'm at a happier place because I'm now moving in a space that I believe that He wants me to be in. I think Shanoa's back. Do we have a voice?
Do we have a voice? Can you hear?
We got victory. Yes. So glad. So glad. Well, we might have to go a little over, but we want you, our sister, to share because we are of the mindset that anytime we go to warfare like this,
Oh
it's
my
because
God.
you got something to say. And
My
we
God.
you will somebody put in the chat, you will be heard.
Oh
yes.
my.
The space is yours. Go forth.
Oh, well, first, thank you so much for considering me. I had this wonderful thing planned to say, but it seems to me we're going to go ahead and get right into this warfare because it
Mhm.
has been a time. I'm trying to tell you, it's been a time. So, rewriting,
Mm,
resiliency. And let me just tell you, you ladies picked a really good topic because my phone has been buzzing since November when we were supposed to do this the first time, okay?
mm,
What do you mean? Left what? Did this, do that. But
Mhm.
hallelujah, anyhow.
Anyhow.
So, what are we talking about? Resiliency. What does it mean? A lot of us have heard this term before, right? And at its core, it is being able to get through something that is extremely hard, extremely difficult, and still manage to get through on the other side intact. Different.
mm,
You won't be the same, but you will be intact.
Mhm.
Amen. So then we thought about resiliency. What about it? What happens? For me, in my experience, the resiliency came in creating and writing my own narrative.
mhm.
Because how many of us know that sometimes you need to be delivered from people?
Come on.
You need to be delivered from people and their stories of you because people
Mm,
will make up their own narrative, they will believe it, and then they will find people to believe it, right? Haven't fact checked at all, but we're going to go ahead and believe it anyway. That's fine. Do what you like to do. What we want to do, because we're human, right? It's the way we made it. I ain't going back down. We want to respond. We want to say something. I know you ain't say this about me. and I'm from South Philly. Don't play with me. So, having said all of that,
Mm-hmm.
you spend a lot of energy trying to
Mm,
track down everybody. Somebody
mm,
has done something to you about negative things, whatever it is, right? You spend a lot of energy trying to do that because that's our nature. That's our fight and flight. We want to get back in there and say something because you're not just going to say that and play in my face.
mm, mhm,
But then God comes in
Mm-hmm.
and says, hey, don't say nothing.
Yes.
What you mean, Lord? What you mean? Do you see what they saying, God? Do you see what your creations is doing? I don't like it. But nope, you can't say nothing. And so you sit, you cry, sit, you cry. And every tear is not a scared tear. Some tears is so that I don't go to jail for reacting to the things that you have done. And so I cry. And what are the tears doing? Sowing.
mm,
It is sowing through my pain. It is sowing through my disbelief. It is sowing through the utter idiocy of people.
Mm-hmm.
Because
mm,
that's all you can really make it be. And so I had to turn my attention from what I felt like was being done to me to myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because
mm,
in order to be resilient, right? How many of us know that God can bless you with things and people would think the leaving behind means material things?
mm,
How small minded. It has nothing to do with a house. It has nothing to do with a car. Those things can be replaced. God can do that. That's easy. God can replace those things, but it's your mindset.
mm,
What happens when you choose to leave an unhealthy mindset behind? Because even if God blessed you with all of that stuff, if your thinking is wrong, you're not even going to be able to appreciate it. You're not going to be able to do anything with it. So the challenge becomes for us to sit back and look at ourselves, think about ourselves, and how do you rewrite your story? How do you not change the narrative? Because they've already put it out there. That's fine. God will deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
But
mm,
turn the page to the next chapter
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
according to what God has to say about me, not what people, because people gonna talk all day, every day.
Yes, girl.
And the ones who talk the most probably are the ones who don't really know how to fight. But that's a conversation for another day.
Come on.
So, getting to know yourself, right? If you're going to be in a battle with anybody, anything, your job is to know how you fight, how you respond when pressure is coming up against you. Sure, you want to study your enemy, you want to know this, but you also want to know how you're going to respond once pressure is pushed.
Mm,
Why? Because if you don't know, your enemy does.
Ah.
They do. Because
mm.
they have nothing else to do but sit and wait and look and see what they can do.
And Chanoa, can I jump in there really quickly? There's
Yeah.
there's a there's a thought leader, Tony Robbins, who says that when you have an opponent, someone who is fighting you,
Mhm.
wants to fight you, wants to make your world tough or upset, what we tend to do is we sometimes we want to play small, we want to get small, and we want to hide ourselves because of the opposition. And he says, no, no, no. Think about it this way,
Mhm.
that if you want to be great, then you need a great opponent. So take that opponent
Yes,
and let that opponent help you become a better version of yourself.
absolutely.
That's how you win the game of resilience. And I loved how he framed that. And that's for everyone who's watching, where you may have an opponent, you may have some stuff coming at you, someone's coming after you. Think about it as this person, they don't know it, but they're going to make me stronger.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. You're gonna make
Mm-hmm.
me stronger. You're gonna make me stronger. Because what I'm not gonna do is die. That's not happening.
It's not
Th-
happening.
That's not gonna happen. So
Mm-hmm.
I have no choice but to fight through.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was preparing for this, first of all, one day I would like for God to give me something flowery to say. That would be great. I had a wonderful thing planned. It was so nice. It was so, oh, praise the Lord. But
Yeah,
that's just not my calling. That's just not what it's supposed to be. We
yeah.
come in and tear up some stuff and break some stuff down. And a lot of times that come with words that have to get right to the point. And
Mm-hmm.
so when I thought about this resiliency and these opponents, and there are a few people, there are a few things that can really, really get to you like that. And it made me think about our sister Hannah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
My Lord, I haven't liked Penina in quite a long time. But I know she has a story. There's a reason why she was the way that she was. But guess what? Haters don't get airtime today. So,
Come
not
on,
today.
not
Not
today.
today. Mm-mm,
Not
not today.
today. Not today.
Because what Penina did, girl, you blessed. You got kids, you had the babies, you did this, you did, and you still found time to try to come against Hannah, not
Mhm.
even looking at everything that God did for you, not even appreciating, shall I say, what God has blessed you with.
Yeah.
You so wrapped up in wanting to make her feel bad about what she didn't have, right? But that's okay because all she did was push her into purpose. That's
Yeah.
all she did.
Woo!
That's all that happened.
Say
You
Push
that.
her
heard
Say
me
that
when she
straight
again.
into
said,
purpose.
Say that
push
again,
her
girl.
into purpose.
Straight into purpose. And Penina was strategic about it. Why you bother this woman when she want to go pray? So if she's bothering her when she's going to go pray, that means she done went and told everybody all this stuff, and now they got to talk about Hannah on her way to pray. But you know what? When I think about this, right, I think about the great philosophers from Brand Nubian, and one of the things they said that I love the most is punks jump up to get beat down. And what do punks do? They try to get you when you're down. When it looks like you don't have anywhere else to go. Panina thought that, oh, Hannah, she's weak. She's this because she's not singing anything. I can just keep on doing this. And the Bible says it was for years,
Mm.
not one day.
Mm.
Imagine having to do that for years. Well, one day, Hannah said, enough is enough.
Mm.
I'm going to go see a man who can surely answer my prayer. And so she went so much so, she went in so much so that Eli thought she was drunk. How
Mm.
hard must you be praying for somebody to think something's wrong with you?
Girl.
It didn't matter. It didn't matter what she looked like. It didn't matter how many times she had to cry. There was a lot of times I think I cried 31 days in a 30-month period. How's that
Mm.
possible? But it's possible. When this part of my journey started, it started with the clothes on my back and a laptop.
Mm. Girl. Wait, wait, wait. I just got to tell you, you got to understand that there's some love happening right now in the chat, and we want to read a little bit of that. We're just going to put a little pause in what you're saying because we believe what Cheryl and I do on the show is we love to read some of the comments in the chat
Mm-hmm.
because they're so encouraging here.
Yeah.
So Anissa says this is such confirmation.
Mm-hmm.
Tina says, Amen. Carla says, I'm with you on this. Cheryl, you want to take over a little bit?
Laverne says, I have to watch this again. My line name is Lady Resilience. I am always hungry for what resilience is and looks like because I don't feel that way when I'm in the midst of.
Yeah, and Jeanette says, Heavenly Father, I thank and praise you for this woman of God who is my beloved Nisi. Oh, that's so nice. God bless you. Marquisa says, fight. That's right,
Yes.
girl.
Yes. We are fighting. We
And,
are fighting.
and, and,
Let's
Mar-
read it. Let's
came back,
read a few more.
and Marquisa came back and said, we bind bullying in Jesus' name. Some people think it's about them and it ain't. They need to go sit down and go live their life. Come on.
Well,
Anissa says, what I'm not gonna do is die. Yes, girl.
what I'm not going to do, we're not doing that.
Hannah, for me, that is my woman in the Bible. Yes, yes,
Yes, yes,
yes.
It is.
Pushed her to purpose. Yes, Laverne is
yes.
repeating what you said. Any more in here we want to read? Yeah, let's
Oh,
read these.
Tina said, sis, you are setting so many women free. And yes, you are, because I'm going to say, I put in the chat, can you ladies appreciate why we had the technical difficulties that
Come
we experienced?
on.
Because the enemy knew she was going to do just that, come in this show and set some free. Come on, and you're talking about Hannah and Panaya, sisters. So, sisters in the space, y'all are getting set free. If this word is for you, wherever it finds you at, let go and let God, because your
Yes.
story Come on.
Yes.
And here's the thing, right? Because when God told me this morning about Hannah and Penina, I'm like, but God, everybody talks about them. I don't want to talk about them. And usually, right, we see Hannah and Penina in relation to women
Mm.
and their relationships and then this, because we're catty and blah, 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 blah.
Come on.
But there's some brothers who act like that.
Mm. Mm.
Another,
Mm.
another mic drop.
Sorry.
It's the
Yes.
truth.
It's the truth. So guess what? That means it's for all of us, right? It's for all
Mm.
of us. And then we ourselves have to be careful so that we don't become penile when God starts blessing us.
Mm. Yes,
Because just
girl.
like God gave it, God will take it.
Mm.
And
Mm. Mm. Mm.
Mm.
Well, let's we have our show is called Unmasked Real Talk Live because we always have an unmasked question that
Mhm.
we want our guests to explore. And so the question that we're going to put out as our unmasked question for you, Chenoa, and for our listeners is, what are you willing to sacrifice
Yes.
in order to rewrite your story? What are you willing to sacrifice
Mhm.
in order to rewrite your story? All right, Chenoa, take it away. Everyone watching, you can put your comments in as well. What are you willing to sacrifice?
That's a good question, right? Because sometimes we're not sure
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
what we're willing to sacrifice. On a Sunday morning when the spirit is high and the preacher's preaching good, I'm gonna give it all, I'm gonna give it all, I'm gonna give it all.
Mm.
But what if God says, you're kind of comfortable now. This lifestyle is getting kind of comfortable for you. Oh, I'm gonna take that away.
mm, mm, mm,
Mm.
mm,
Is
mm,
it the stuff? Is it the people? Or are you willing to serve God? Like, which one is it going to be? So for me, that was the sacrifice. I'm completely sold out. I am completely willing now to walk into my purpose and not worry about what's going to happen on the back end. If I am moving into purpose, right?
mm,
And
mhm,
this is what God is willing for my life, whatever it is that I sacrificed,
mhm,
God's going to return it exceedingly, abundantly, above all that I could ever ask or think, which means it's going to be better.
Mm.
mm, mhm,
It's going to be better. Like there is a meme that's around where the little girl has this beat up teddy bear, but on the other side, God is trying to offer a much larger, a better one. And it's all right because we get comfortable in things. We get comfortable with friends. We get comfortable with relationships. We get comfortable with status.
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
Too comfortable. And
Mm-hmm.
so God
Yeah.
takes some things up, and that's when you realize what is it you are
Mm,
willing to give up. For me, it was I needed peace of mind at all costs
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Mm,
because I can't be an effective mother. I can't be a friend. I can't be anything if my mind is not at peace.
Come on.
mm.
You know, that's where the fight with the enemy starts.
Yes.
If he
Yes.
can
Yes.
get that and get your thinking all over the place about things that don't even matter, or focus on what people are thinking about you because of what was said, we miss the purpose and the will of God for our lives.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
And before you know it, years
mhm.
have passed by, and you still on the same hamster wheel.
Yes. And I liked what you said earlier in this conversation about the small the mindset, willing to sacrifice a mindset that doesn't serve you. I'm willing to sacrifice, and I did
Mm-hmm,
sacrifice something when I went through a divorce. I sacrificed playing small
mm-hmm,
and putting my dreams and goals on the back burner for somebody else's progress.
right.
And that no longer served me. So I had to sacrifice a whole lot of stuff. But the most important sacrifice was playing small. No more playing small. I now have to play big. And that was an important mind shift for me. You're right. It starts in the mind.
It is
Mm-hmm.
an important mind shift because that's just kind of, it's like, okay, let me make myself almost invisible, right? Because if I do that, if I agree, if I comply, then things will get better. And that's not true.
Yeah.
It can never
Yes.
be true because God has called us to be such wonderful things. Each of us have a different type of calling, right? Everybody ain't going to talk to 5,000 people, and that's fine because 5,000 people might wear me out. I'm
Mm-hmm.
okay with five, you know.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
are, but you can't even talk to one if your mindset is not right. If you haven't dealt with those things, and that's another thing. If you're going to be resilient, you're going to have to spend some time and deal with you.
There you go.
Absolutely.
There you
Absolutely.
We want to call ourselves queens and we want to call ourselves kings, but really, are you though? Because you're
Mm.
not living like one.
go. Mm,
Mm.
And we love to shout out the haters. My haters, this for the tooth, that. No.
Mm.
Here's why they know how to get you, because you post everything.
come on.
Mm. Ooh.
Giving your haters access to everything that you're doing. Because once you take the access away, all they can do is replay the old tapes.
Mm.
Ooh,
Mm. Come
ooh,
on now.
ooh,
Right.
Girl,
I
you
don't
speaking some truth.
I don't
mhm,
even use that mixtape no more. I done moved on, but you keep on playing it though.
ooh.
Ooh. Okay,
Ah,
so you teaching good. Tia
yes,
says, "Come on,
yes,
you are teaching good." Yeah,
and,
that's the
and
truth.
several people kind of echo one person. Carla Dupriest put in, "I'm willing to sacrifice my will and replace it with the will of God." And so many people piggyback off of that because people real. Someone said, "I think I have sacrificed my firstborn. It's the most uncomfortable,
Mhm.
scariest sacrifice I've experienced. None of my control." And what happens is that it seems like everybody is people are in a place now. I'm ready to trust God to show me what my next step is. And something you said a few moments ago, Shanoa, you said like everything is on social media, or people putting and letting really the enemy know where they are. Well, guess
Yeah.
what? This is what I'm doing. You said something key. This is what I'm doing versus putting ourselves in a posture or position. Well, what am I going to let God do?
Right.
Mm.
What am I going to let
Mm.
God do? So you're
Right.
absolutely right. People are showing us what they're doing.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And here's the thing, right? It's
I'm done.
getting free and rewriting your narrative comes from a lot of different areas, right? For some of us, it comes by way of divorce. For others of us, it comes by way of abuse. And unfortunately, some of us have experienced all of these things, right? And the thing about narratives is, who's the source? Where's it coming from? You know,
Mm.
I will never forget, when my son died, it was maybe a day or two after the service, and someone had the nerve to come up to me to say, "Oh, was that your boyfriend you was hugging?" I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just put my son in the ground.
Mm.
And that's your question? That's what you want to know?
Mm.
That fast, you had already created a narrative of me
Mm,
Mhm.
that wasn't even accurate.
mhm, mhm.
Mm.
And that's the reason why we need to get to a place where we are willing to sacrifice what people are saying, sacrifice friends. Because listen, if you're trying to move in a purpose, some stuff got to fall off, and that will be people,
Mm. For sure. Yes.
along with changing a mindset. Because once you change your mindset, people look different. People look different.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
discernment kicks in a little bit. You're like, oh, that's what you look like. I didn't realize that before. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's truth to the statement. Change your story, change your life.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Change your
yeah,
story,
yeah, yeah,
change your life. And the thing that I love that you're saying,
yeah.
it is that we have the ability to change our story.
You
We
do.
are the authors and the finishers of our own story. So if the
Yeah.
story is not working for you, people, guess what?
Change
You
it.
can change the story. You can change the narrative that you tell yourself over and over again to have a different result in your life. That is a word right there. I'm so curious to know. Well, why don't you share with us what is it that you do to help other people who want to be resilient like you are?
Mhm.
What do you do to help them or support them?
Honestly, the first thing is, let's look inward.
Say
Let's
it.
look inward, because once you look inward and kind of go back a little bit, pull some things back for yourself, you start to understand more about you. You
Mm.
understand how your upbringing leads to your decision making, which may have led to you making wrong decisions about relationships, about friendships, about jobs,
Mhm.
about all of these things. But if you don't know about yourself, the enemy
Mm.
will keep using that same thing over and over and over and over again. But when you know these things about yourself, when you know
Mm.
what sets you off. When
Mm-hmm.
you know what things cause you to want to feel like to shrink back a little bit. Once you know that, you be like,
Yeah.
yep,
Yeah.
that is it. And I know that. So now you're not going to be able to use that against me.
Mm.
And
Mm.
that also positions you to get your power back.
That's exactly
You
what,
get your
which,
power back.
which is another way why you want to make sure you are writing a story that's as authentic as possible, because that's
Mm.
really what it is. It is about a
Mm-hmm.
power struggle, right? Are we
Mm.
going to believe what other people are saying about us, or are we going to believe what God says about us?
Woo.
Yes.
I'm not saying that this happens overnight, because it surely don't. So please don't think today I'm deciding to be resilient, tomorrow I will be. It does not go that way. You're going to have to be willing to go through some things, confront some stuff about yourself that maybe you don't like, maybe some things that you even forgot about, because our brain is wired that way. If it's too hard,
Mm.
oh, toss it out. Won't want to think about that no more. But once you really get before God and say, I don't want this life no more, I
Mm.
don't be this way anymore. Help me get to understand who I am, because once you get to who you are, there is nobody who can take it from you.
Mm.
They can try, but they can't.
Mm. 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 I love that.
Absolutely. We love that. But can I just, with your permission, add one other piece to what you just said?
Go ahead.
When you get to know who you are and
Mhm.
whose you are,
Come
you
on.
become a powerful force to be reckoned
Absolutely.
with. Mm,
Absolutely.
mm,
Because here's the thing, right? People
mm, mm,
who
mm.
choose to want to constantly come up against you always have something to say about you, like Panina. She always had something to say about Hannah, always had this. But what she was really doing was coming up against the ministry that was within Hannah, because we know what she went to birth, right? We know what happened with the rest of her story. We know what happened with the rest of her line. Panina don't even really get mentioned no more. Bye, girl.
Mm. Mm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the kind of thing we have to think about. But again, Hannah went through this for years. And that's what I want to stress. Like, don't rush it. Don't rush it.
Mm.
Don't rush it. You know,
Yes, that's
it
important.
doesn't feel good. It's uncomfortable, but be willing to sit in the uncomfortableness just for a while so that you can really have true and permanent change, right? Because great, you got something fixed today, it's broke again tomorrow. Is something's wrong,
Mm-hmm.
let's get down to the root of why things are happening for you the way that they're happening for you. And once you get to that part, once God really shows you, like, all right, now we can work.
Yes, because growth occurs outside your comfort zone.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
It
Absolutely.
doesn't matter what we're talking about. If you want to grow some muscles, okay, you want to get really tight in your body with muscles. Men spend hours in the gym. They are working that muscle to exhaustion,
Hmm.
so that it can rebuild and repair and come back stronger. Growth
Hmm.
occurs outside the comfort zone. Shanoa, why don't you give us some takeaways that we could just chew on and keep for the rest of our 2024 journey when we're thinking about resilience and rewriting our story?
Sure, 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 sure. So the first thing is this: take back your pen and don't ask permission.
Ooh.
Don't ask permission. Take it back.
Mm.
You ever see the kids in the schoolyard, or maybe you was one of them kids? They took something from you and you know it was yours, and you went back over there and you snatched it. You didn't ask, you snatched it, and you probably rolled your eyes. All of that. Do all of that, okay?
All of that.
Because other people have told your story long enough. They've told you
Yes,
long enough.
I
The
love
second
that.
would be comfortable getting to know you, and we talked about that a little bit. Be comfortable in getting to know yourself, all parts of you, your imperfections, your past values, because none of it is lost. None of it is lost. God uses all of
Mm.
it. Be comfortable in it.
Yeah.
So then you want to be vulnerable with God. That's hard. That's hard. Be naked with
Mm.
God. Oh, God, everything. God already knows, right? But sometimes just give voice to it frees us up for some stuff.
Mm.
Because
Mm.
take it, and then you can start your permanent healing process.
Yes.
not temporary, but permanent. And that comes from complete vulnerability with God. I mean, all of it, things you ain't never told nobody before. Give it to God so that it cannot be used against you.
Yeah. Yeah. I love
And,
that.
and celebrate. The last thing is really celebrate your progress. No
Mm-hmm.
matter how small you think it is, don't despise the small beginnings.
Mm.
Started with 1 cup. All right, God, next week I got 2. That's progress.
Yes.
That,
Yes.
that is progress. Keep going, keep pushing, don't stop, don't give up. Cry a
Hmm.
little, work a little, cry a little, work a little.
Hmm.
Be angry
Hmm.
a little bit, work some more. But whatever
Yes.
we're doing, don't stop. And if we had time, we would get into it, that how you go, how you push forward is really a big part of that is your support system. But we don't have time to get into that, because that right there have around you makes a difference, because sometimes it's snakes in the camp and you don't even know it.
Mm.
Woo! You know
Girl.
what, Shanoa, this all I'm gonna say. I put it in the chat that if I get up out of this chair, it's gonna be all over. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, it is going to be all over. But what I will say to you is that we're gonna make space for you to come back for part 2, because we need that part. That other part, we can't leave the sisters hanging. If there's any brothers in the chat, we can't leave y'all hanging either. But
No,
you have spoken volumes. You have spoken volumes, and we recognize that we serve a God of second chances, and we can rewrite our narrative and rewrite that story. When you talked about those giveaways, oh, those takeaways,
it's
man, the chat is just like, oh, I've never seen the chat going on like it is today. It's just like, ping, 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 ping. And again, the adversary, the adversity that you went through was because you have something so powerful to share with our community. And we are so honored. And even our producer, because we're done, y'all, typically at 12:30. She said we could have the 12:50. So we know that there's nothing but God. But we're gonna make sure that we give you what you need to get. You're gonna get a prize today. But if you come back next week and the week after, we give our prizes every single week. But there, even with our awesome raffle that we're going to give to you today, it cannot suffice for what this sister has imparted into our community on today. Thank you so much for just coming in. And you know what? I think Pam could agree with me. We're grateful for the warfare right before the show.
yeah.
It set the stage. It set the stage for what took place. So what the enemy meant for bad, God said it shall be for good. So guess what? Even in that, he still gets the praise. So
And that's
producer,
all
because
I say.
I'm
God, the glory. That's it. That's
yeah,
it.
he
Oh,
gets the glory. He
mhm.
gets the glory. Producer, come on, because see, I'm messed up right now. The sister done messed
Ooh, and look at all the names.
Wow.
Woo!
Wow.
up.
That's
My God.
My.
Did they put my name in there? I want to.
We're gonna give you a book. We're gonna give you a book.
Jeanette Dupree.
Wait a minute, is that your aunt or your cousin?
That's my aunt.
Because one of your family members is blowing up the chat. So I'm so glad that she won.
Listen, that's
Congratulations.
that's a part of
Congratulations.
that support system that we're gonna talk about next time.
Woo! Well, y'all,
Well, we want to make sure that we get Jeanette's address because we will mail the book. I'm going to mail the book to you right here. I'm gonna mail it to you. But I want to sign it. And you said you wanted a book too,
she needs to
darling.
get one too.
But you know I'm gonna give you one too, baby. I'm a sign it. But we definitely want to make sure we get those addresses so we can send these out to you.
Yes.
This has been remarkable. It has been strong. It has been fun and it's
Yes.
been enlightening. And we want everyone who has been with us today to feel encouraged
Yes.
by Chenoa's story, by her sharing, by her takeaways. If you are going through a tough spot in your own life and you want resilience, talk to Chenoa because she has understood what the journey looks like. And we celebrate you all. We also want to close out by saying, listen, thank you for watching Unmasked Real Talk Live and for posting your comments in the chat. We sincerely hope that today's show has touched your life in a positive way. We know it has. If it has, we would deeply be grateful if you would extend this experience to someone else in your life. Invite them to come and join us in the chat on our live show. And when they do, we'll give a shout out to you and to them for sharing the show. Your effort in sharing our core message that you matter
Yeah.
and you are enough not
Yeah.
only makes you an incredible person, but also plays a crucial role in helping others discover their worthiness. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today on Unmasked Real Talk Live. Thank you, Chenoa. You will be back because there's more to say on resilience rewriting or rewriting your resilience. Love it.
Yeah. All of it.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everyone.
Awesome. Bye-bye.